If I told you that Aunt Han is out there hunting down Tian Ying, would you believe me? Aunt Han, your adoptive mother, the woman who spent 16 years raising you, protecting you, feeding you, probably nagging you a little too. And then, boom, after the massacre at Blissful Retreat, she just vanished. No goodbye, no note, not even a take care, kid. But honestly, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. Because if you had stayed under Aunt Han's protection forever, you'd never truly understand what Zhonghu is. The chaos, the danger, the beauty, the madness, you'd miss all of it. So maybe, just maybe, the story needed her to disappear. Needed her to step out of your life so you could finally step into your own journey to the real open world adventure. Still, one question keeps haunting everyone after the battle at Blissful Retreat. Where was Aunt Han? And what was she doing? There's no way she would just stand there and watch her people fall, right? That's not her. So the only reasonable explanation is she was busy. Busy dealing with someone far more dangerous. Someone from the Arya Pavilion. Someone like Li Zuo. Think about it. An attack of that scale. Sending Qinghe and the horse dancer alone wouldn't be enough. Li Zuo himself was probably there. Because if he could capture Aunt Han, he wouldn't just gain the best face-changing expert in all of Zhonghu. He'd get something even more valuable. A secret. A list? A game changer. So then, did Aunt Han survive a clash with someone like Li Zuo? Oh, absolutely. Not only did she survive, she showed up just in time to pull you out of that explosion. Talk about dramatic timing, right? And here's where things get even more interesting. Killerblade might still be alive. Yeah, you heard it right. At the end of Chapter 1, a mysterious man appears. He's hiding his face, clearly doesn't want to be recognized. He must hide it because that face is someone you know. Someone you tried to save, but failed. Someone who was cut down by Killerblade. So why is he standing there like nothing happened? Coincidence? I don't think so. If Killerblade is still alive, then Aunt Han must have saved him. And not just that, she likely gave him a brand new face. A second life. A clean slate. Classic Aunt Han move, honestly. But then, why didn't she come back for you? Well, she must have had something more important to do. And that raises a terrifying question. What could possibly be more important than you? So what if I told you? Aunt Han didn't disappear to hide. She disappeared. For revenge. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the twist. The target of her revenge isn't the Arya Pavilion. She's smart. She knows she can't solo an entire organization on her own. That would be suicide, not revenge. The one she truly hates is Tien Ying. Yes, that Tien Ying, the man who has cast the longest shadow over Qinghe. But why Tien Ying, you ask? All right, let's rewind. 3 years ago, that night, the Night Ruby climbed up Moonville Peak and witnessed a battle between two masters of Zhonghu. Those two, Aunt Han and her lover, Chu Qingquan. And no, this wasn't some jealous lover's quarrel. This was something much bigger. Something far more important. It was about the 16 prefectures of Yanyun. It was about Tien Ying's plan. At that time, an envoy from Khitan was passing through Qinghe on the way to the southern Tang, aiming to form an alliance against Emperor Chai Rong. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And Tien Ying saw it. Saw a chance to destroy that alliance before it even began. His plan. Assassinate the Khitan envoy. But to pull that off, he needed to change his face. Then he could slip into enemy territory like a ghost. And the only person capable of that was Aunt Han. By day, she was just an innkeeper. Warm, calm, unassuming. By night, she became something else entirely. a master of stolen identities, a ghost who could rewrite faces. She had already used this ability to send countless spies northward, contributing to the effort to reclaim Yanyun. Among them were members of the Hanging Blade, the organization that Tien Ying himself was part of it. And, what a coincidence, Chu Qingquan was one of them too. Chu Qingquan, a patriot just as devoted as Tien Ying, the kind of man who would absolutely agree to change his face, abandon his identity, and disappear into Yanyun as a spy, no hesitation. But here's the problem. He was in love with Aunt Han. And honestly, how could she possibly agree to that? Aunt Han had always refused to hand over her face-changing techniques to the Hanging Blade, no matter what, no matter who asked. And so, Tien Ying did what he does best. He made a plan to steal it. He knew Aunt Han was far too powerful to confront head-on. So instead, he pulled the cruelest move imaginable. He dragged Chu Qingquan into the plan. Because if it was her lover standing in her way, maybe she wouldn't have the heart to strike him down. Suddenly, it makes sense why Aunt Han never taught you martial arts. 'Cause this world is brutal. The Hanging Blade hosted a banquet and invited Aunt Han. Nice and fancy on the surface, but really just a distraction. While she was there, Tian Ying slipped into Blissful Retreat to steal the face-changing manual. But Aunt Han wasn't a fool. She realized what was happening and rushed back, only to be stopped by Chu Qingquan, right there at the bell tower. What followed was not a lover's quarrel. It was a full-blown clash, and it left destruction in its wake. While they fought, Tien Ying succeeded. He got the manual. In that moment, everything shattered. Aunt Han turned her back on the Hanging Blade, and her love story ended right there. Why? Because Tien Ying didn't just use the face-changing technique for the assassination. No, he went even further. He might change Chu Qingquan's face too. And just like that, Chu Qingquan left, for the sake of the country, for a mission bigger than love. All he left behind was a letter, promising that one day, when he returned, he would make it up to her. Then Killerblade showed up and brought the worst news possible. Chu Qingquan had died in battle at Blackwater City. Just like that. All those months of waiting, all those jars of parting tear wine she had saved for his return, Aunt Han poured them into the river. Not because she was weak, not because she broke, but because she knew that time, her youth, her love, were gone. Still, Aunt Han didn't collapse. She didn't have that luxury, because she still had people to protect. Her people, the ones at Blissful Retreat. But when you think about it, everything she tried to prevent, every effort to stop Chu Qingquan from becoming a spy in Yanyun, was completely destroyed by Tien Ying. And in the end, she didn't even get to be a bride, only a widow. So tell me, if Tien Ying doesn't deserve to die, then who does? And oh, we're not done yet. Not even close. Because before Aunt Han could even process her grief in the morning, by nightfall, the Ariat Pavilion arrived and turned Blissful Retreat into a bloodbath. Here's the twist. That, too, traces back to Tien Ying. 3 years earlier, after stealing the face-changing technique, Tien Ying successfully assassinated the Khitan envoy on southern Tang territory. Boom! Alliance shattered. Just like that. Southern Tang was now facing potential retaliation from the Khitan forces, and things were looking very bad. Desperate times called for desperate measures. The Southern Tang court and the Ariat Pavilion had to offer everything they could to fix the situation. Why was Ariat Pavilion involved? Simple. Their leader had deep ties with the Southern Tang court. They couldn't just sit this one out. And Tien Ying? He became public enemy number one. Hunted relentlessly. But here's the funny part. Well, funny in a dark, twisted way. No one expected that he would hide inside a prison in Southern Tang. After 3 years of forced labor, he was rescued by Uncle Zhong and returned to Qinghe. And the moment Ariat Pavilion caught wind of this, they mobilized everything and headed straight for Qinghe, which means Aunt Han's long-hidden sanctuary was finally exposed. Now, technically, Aunt Han never directly opposed the Ariat Pavilion, but Water Lady? That was a different story. The secrets she held, the information she carried, were more than enough to make her a target, a very valuable one, because in her possession was a list of spies who had operated in Yanyun. And that list, oh, that was pure gold. The perfect bargaining chip with the Khitan, which is probably why the attack on Blissful Retreat happened in the first place. And this time, Ariat Pavilion succeeded. They got the list. You later uncover this at Velvet Shade. There, an envoy of Southern Tang was preparing to trade that list with a Khitan envoy. But luckily, you stepped in, disguised, infiltrated, played your part, and accidentally killed the Southern Tang envoy. Not your cleanest mission, but hey, it worked. You destroyed the list. Saved the day. Hero moment, right? Yeah, not quite. Because the truth is, you were being played. Every move you made was orchestrated by the women of Velvet Shade. Beautiful, mysterious, dangerous. They wanted to sabotage the deal between Southern Tang and the Khitan, but they didn't want to get their own hands dirty. So they used an outsider. And who better than you? The adopted child of the woman who owned that very list. Perfect setup. They staged everything so you could walk right into Velvet Shade and right into that meeting. From everything we've pieced together, we can now clearly see just how much damage Tian Ying has caused Aunt Han. He indirectly pushed her lover, Chu Qingquan, to his death. He indirectly caused the massacre at Blissful Retreat, taking away people she cared about, friends, family, her home. And on top of that, he turned her precious list of Yanyun spies into a bargaining chip, used by Southern Tang to clean up the mess he created after assassinating the Khitan envoy. That's a lot. Honestly, it's more than enough to guarantee one thing. Tien Ying isn't done causing trouble. So really, why not just eliminate him once and for all? Which leads to a very tempting theory. What if Aunt Han has already left Qinghe, headed north, and is now hunting Tien Ying, who's operating under a new identity as Lord Li? Maybe she's not just after revenge, but also the truth behind Chu Qingquan's death. Or maybe after giving Killerblade a brand new face, she sent him to finish Tien Ying, while she gathers the survivors of Blissful Retreat and leads them to a new safe haven. And hey, who knows? Among those survivors, there might even be your cousin, the one you thought had died. Plot twist, anyone? Or, here's another possibility. Aunt Han has already changed her own face and is quietly following you, watching over you from the shadows. Kind of comforting, kind of terrifying. Very Aunt Han. Of course, all of this is just my personal theory. But let's be real, we still have a whole Zhonghu to explore. There's no way the story is letting you reunite with Aunt Han anytime soon. Because if that happens, you'll probably be back to daily lectures and punishment drills before you can even say freedom. While searching for clues about Aunt Han and Kaifeng, you start to notice something interesting. She's famous. Like, really famous. A lot of people know her. And even more people know you as her adopted child. But strangely, no one seems to know where she is now. All you hear are stories. Stories about what she's done in the past. Her legend, her shadow. Then, when you return to Revelry Hall, you encounter a mysterious man. He goes by the name Shimmer of the South. This guy, he's the one pulling the strings behind Ying, and his information network is insane. Through him, you begin to uncover the tangled web of events and relationships in Kaifeng, but we'll save that rabbit hole for another time. Because right now, You only care about one person, Aunt Han. And Shimmer of the South, he knows something. Something big. He reveals her past. Aunt Han was born into a family with heroic blood. She had a twin, both of them brilliant, both skilled in martial arts. But their family was destroyed, and the two were taken in by the Liang family. Sounds kind, right? Not really. The Liang family's young mistress was suffering from a mysterious wasting disease and needed a cure. So taking in the twins. Very likely, part of a plan. They possessed an incomplete musical score stolen from the Tang Imperial Palace, called the Rainbow Robe Score, and the twins were forced to complete it. That same score is exactly what Shimmer of the South is searching for, which is why he dug into the Liang family and uncovered Aunt Han's origins. After finally completing the score, the twin escaped. But freedom came at a price. While being chased by the Liang family, her twin brother sacrificed himself so Aunt Han could live. And not long after that, the Liang family was mysteriously wiped out. Gone. Just like that. Now, think about this. If Aunt Han ever finds out that Shimmer of the South holds this information about her past, she's definitely coming for him. No question. So where is Aunt Han right now? Honestly, we'll probably have to wait. A long, long time. Because knowing stories like this, she'll only reappear at the perfect moment. And that moment is probably when you're in serious danger. That's when this adoptive mother will step back into the light. And hey, if you've got any other clues about Aunt Han, drop them in the comments. One more thing. What if I told you Chu Qingquan hasn't died? Would you believe it? See you in the next video.